Every sport has its origins, and for Supercross, it came on the European motocross tracks where Roger DeCoster became motorcycle's first superstar. For the sport to thrive across the pond, American promoters secured the nation's top arenas where they built man-made tracks to induce crowds that reached 70,000 strong. New heroes like Jammin' Jimmy Weinert, Tony DeStefano, and Gary Semix were created. But in the late 70s, Bob Hurricane Hanna and his hell-bent, come-from-behind, foot-off-the-pegs riding style elevated Supercross to a national phenomenon. His 27 career victories and 3 consecutive championships have secured this living legend a prominent place in Supercross history. In the early 80s, the torch was passed to the little professor, David Bailey, whose smooth technical style won the 1983 title. In the mid-80s, the Flying Freckle Jeff Ward won 2 Supercross titles, the first rider to win titles in every class. Rick Magic Man Johnson used his flashy style and all-American demeanor to win fans, as well as 2 championships. His 28 victories passed Hanna's all-time total. In 89-90, Johnson's Honda teammate Jeff Stanton would claim the #1 plate with back-to-back titles. In 92, his work ethic and determination helped him become only the second rider with 3 championships. Who would be the next Supercross superstar? David Bradshaw, Mike Kudrowski, or Mike LaRocco? In 1993, the question was answered by Jeremy McGrath. He became the first rookie to win the championship. His 10 wins, the all-time one-season record. Last year, 9 more victories led to a second title. McGrath hopes his crowd-pleasing knack-knack style will join Hanna as the only 3-time consecutive champion and become #1 in career victories. Can anyone stop McGrath? Find out as the 1995 United States Supercross Series gets underway. Tornado warnings and a deluge had everyone fearing the worst, but the entire track surface was covered by plastic, and the skies cleared, and we are now ready for action. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the opening round of the U.S. Supercross Series. I'm Art Eckman, along with David Bailey, former Supercross champion. And, David, I think the question is not who's going to beat Jeremy McGrath as much as it is whose record is he going to beat?
Well, he's closing in on a couple of them. One is Bob Hanna's. He has 3 titles. Well, Jeremy's a Supercross king. He could probably win another title this year. Also, Rick Johnson. He has 28 wins, and he only needs 9 more to match that record. And each of the last 2 years, he's won 9 races.
And Jeremy's not taking anything for granted. He came in 15 pounds lighter.
Oh, he looks lean and fit, and he's got Gary Semix training him. Gary Semix, now this guy's a lot like Dick Clark. First time I ever saw him in the late 70s. Looks the same as he does now. He's got a lot of experience to bring to the table. He was once a Team Honda member.
We also have the opening round of the Superstars of the Future, the 125 Easter Division. Lots of young faces.
Well, you've got Tim Ferry. He's just been signed to Team Suzuki, and also Roger DeCoster is now the new team manager and bring good things out of Tim. Also, you've got Kevin Windham, 16-year-old Yamaha sensation competing in his first Supercross, and Michael Pichon. He came to the U.S. last year, rode 3 races, and he won one of those in San Diego, and he said he was going to Disneyland. Well, here we are in Orlando, and he'd probably like to open it up with another win and go to Disney World.
And maybe Robbie Raynard can stay out of the ambulance this year. Anyway, we saw the track. It was covered. It is beautiful now that they've taken the plastic off. Let's take a look.
The track remains pretty much the same as it has years in past. They've added a few new loop sections to test the riders. The starting line's extremely long here, and it's going to make that first corner pretty tight. The track's pretty dry considering all the rain they've had. It's going to be interesting. The 125s are touring the track, and crews who labored for months anticipating the season's opener will learn shortly if their off-season theories were correct.
This edition of Power Wheels on ESPN2 is brought to you by Honda, defending champions and holders of the past 7 consecutive Supercross titles. Honda, come ride with us. And by Suzuki. Right now, your Suzuki dealer has the ride you've been waiting for and the financing to get it.
This is a 1-800-COLLECT call from...
Hey, this is your son, Jeremy. Your son, Jeremy. Trying to be funny? I've been eating pretty good. Doug and I were just hanging out. Tease. I'm not an actor.
What am I doing? Jeff's doing good. He says to say hi. Hi, Dad. Steve says to say hi. Hi, Mom and Dad. Say what? I think we're going to take it tonight. No, I'd rather have it on your bill than mine. I'm getting ready to go race right now. Mom, guess what? We just won the championship again.
How do you visualize your future? This or this? Call Motorcycle Mechanics Institute and get on the fast track to success. Endorsed by all 5 major manufacturers, the MMI professionals will provide the technician training to give you control of your future.
I'm currently in charge of Team Suzuki Yoshimura's Supersport program. I wouldn't be here today without MMI on my resume.
Call Motorcycle Mechanics Institute now to train for your future.
Jumpin', jammin', smashin', crashin', floorin', soarin'. Experience the high-flying world of Supercross like never before. Call now to order Supercross Thrills and Spills, the video that captures the highs and the lows of the world's top riders. Endless endos, roughest rivalries, biggest bloopers, and fantastic finishes. Can't miss action for the can't miss price of $19.95 plus shipping and handling. Call 1-800-225-5222 and order Supercross Thrills and Spills. All major credit cards accepted. Call now.
The Supercross stars of the future, the 125 Eastern Region main event. Until the gate drops, lots of butterflies for these young men as we get set for the Suzuki starting grid. Tim Ferry taking away with his heat race. Robbie Raynard, Mike Brown, Wyndham, and Pichon, the favorites in this race.
Tim Ferry and Robbie Raynard looking really sharp in their heat races, each picking up a win. Also Honda of Troy with Mike Brown and James Dobb there looking good. And can't leave out Kevin Wyndham, the newly signed Yamaha factory rider, 16 years old, in his first ever Supercross.
Jim Neese getting into the main event, winning the last chance qualifier as the last 4 on that Suzuki starting grid. Getting into the main event through the last chance qualifiers. We're almost set to go for the first race of the year, 125 East, and they're off. Good start for Ferry, 23. 101 is Pichon. 43, Kevin Wyndham as they hit the corner.
This is one of the longest starting lines I've ever seen. There you see a few guys getting pushed wide, and Pichon and Ferry, they're both on the inside. That's a good spot to be.
Ferry breaking over the jumps now, number 23 on the Suzuki. That's Pichon right behind him. McKell winning a race 2 years ago in San Diego. 45 is Jimmy Neese, last chance qualifier. He's got a battle with Kevin Wyndham right now.
Well, Jim Neese had the last look at the racetrack. Even though these guys get a parade lap, you know, you don't want to come from the last chance qualifier, but a lot of times that gives you a chance to loosen up a little bit more and see how the track's changing as the night wears on.
Kevin Wyndham, very impressive in the Outdoor National. He ran in just after turning 16. He wilted at the end of the race, admitting that he needed better conditioning coming out of the amateur ranks, but is a rising star for Yamaha.
Well, it's a big boost of confidence to get a factory deal like that, but he makes a mistake and lets Dobb by. Here's another mistake by Robbie Raynard. He got too close to the hay bales there, a tricky little section. There's a lot of mud here, and you got to stay in that good dry groove.
Dobb and Wyndham. Dobb is number 16. Wyndham 43. Dobb, of course, coming over from England, has had a little bit more experience here in the Supercross ranks. Ferry in first place. McKell Pichon, second place. Jimmy Neese, third. Dobb, fourth, and Wyndham, fifth.
You get a glimpse there of number 22, Raynard, and you can see with him losing those couple of spots how dirty he's gotten. Now, that's really important not to lose too many spots. You know, with all the rain they've had here, they've done a nice job to keep the track dry, but that stuff's wet and it sticks to your goggles, and if he follows too many riders around, he's not going to have any vision for the rest of this race.
Number 45, Jim Neese, showing very well in the support race of the Grand Prix at Budds Creek this last year. Ferry out on top, and McKell Pichon is very confident just to stay right behind him and push him a little bit.
Well, Ferry's riding excellent. I'm not sure that Pichon has anything that he can do to get by him at the moment. All he can do is stay close, try to stay out of that roost, pick some different lines, which is tough to do here, and just study what Ferry is doing and put the pressure on him, and then hopefully in the closing laps make a pass.
Robbie Raynard making his move now, a very quick rider who had problems with injuries last year.
There you see his dad looking on, and he doesn't look happy. I think he realizes that the leaders are starting to get away, and if Raynard has a shot at at winning this thing, he's going to have to start making up some ground now.
Turned pro late in 1993, just after turning 16. Broken wrist, injured shoulder. Twice in the preseason practice, he had a tough time with that shoulder.
Well, here he's got a cluster of riders right in front of him, and takes a look up the inside. He's got nothing there, but boy, he's definitely caught this pack of riders, and I have a feeling right now he's riding a little faster pace than they are, but it's going to be difficult to get by. It's starting to form one line, as I mentioned earlier. You can see the mud on the sides of the track, and the rut down the whoop sections. It's very difficult to make a pass.
Raynard with a second-place finish and a third-place finish in last year's season. 2 podium appearances.
And there's, you see another one of those ruts there as they come out of that jump. And it makes it difficult. Raynard there was unable to jump that plateau, but he still makes the inside, and another inside move. He gets past Nice. You know, what I kind of like about Raynard is that he doesn't look like Ron Lachine when he rides, but Ron Lachine used to be able to ride around corners, stand up, and it just eliminates one more move so that you can get into those bumps and the jumps and not have to stand up and sit down so many times. It also saves energy.
They had something in common too, David. They both made their marks very early in their career.
Yep, here's a good battle between Dobb and Kevin Windham, and you know, they're kind of slowing each other down with this.
Oh, Dobb bumps Windham there, and Raynard takes advantage of it, cutting to the inside with a lot of speed.
Yeah, I had a feeling they're slowing each other down, and here we're going to get another look. Looks like Windham's just going to try to make a nice pass up the inside, but he goes up too wide. Dobb makes a nice move, cuts across the inside. You know, I don't think it was necessary to take him out that far. He already had the pass made. Watch him look over right here. He looks at Raynard as he goes right by, thinking, well, I picked up one, but I lost one.
James Dobb, number 16 in 4th. Windham trying to catch up with him in 5th. These two are battling within the race.
Well, the whole race, they've been passing each other back and forth, but on the track like this, the only way to make a pass is really to slow down the pace. They're so involved in the battle with themselves, they've really slowed up their own pace.
And here comes Mike Brown. Brown, a winner at Pontiac last year, could take advantage of this battle.
Oh, he sure can, and right there already up the inside.
Brown moving into 5th. With Dobb in 4th, and your leaders pulling away. We'll be back with more 125 action in a moment.
Bose rules.
Rule number 1. You got a sport? You want to get better? You need the RTV.
Whatever your activity, you get better, stronger, faster with the resistance training vest from Efinity.
Rule number 2. Get more from your workout in less time. Max it out with the RTV.
Add from 1 to 20 pounds of weight while you work out. Build strength, endurance, explosive power.
Rule number 3. No stairs, no drills, and definitely no rubber bands. Just me and my RTV.
All you need is the resistance training vest to get the ultimate workout for your sport while playing your sport. You train as you play.
Hey, you got Bose rules? Then get off the couch and go get yourself an RTV.
Call now and get the RTV 4 starter weights, the RTV training program, and logbook for just $79.95. Satisfaction guaranteed or your money back.
I'm waiting.
Welcome back to Orlando, Florida. Art Ekman, David Bailey, and Jan Beekes with you for the first 125 East Division race of the year. We see here the 4th, 5th, and 6th positions. It's Dobb, Brown, and Kevin Windham. This has been the true battle of the race as the 3 front runners have pulled away.
Well, it's been a battle between Dobb and Windham this whole time, and all of a sudden, you know, I'd been saying all along that they were slowing each other down, and Mike Brown was able to get up in there. Look at that. He does the triple and makes it. Oh, boy, he came close to landing on Dobb as he came down there.
Dobb with the 4th and 2 5ths last year. Was just getting used to the circuit, really. Brown moving into 4th place, number 26. Outstanding outdoor riders. We take another look at how he got there.
Well, he's the man on the move right now. Look here, he jumps the triple. Looks as though he looks down right there in the air, and he sees that he's got the clearance to make the pass on Dobb. That was close when he landed.
So that moves these two back a notch. 5th and 6th we're looking at right now. Brown moving into 4th.
Wyndham seems to be dropping back a little bit here in the race, but you know, that's a nice move right there. Boy, you know, Dobb left the door wide open. I think he realized it, but he did have that momentum coming from the outside. He makes the pass right, and here these guys go again.
Oh, nice cut inside by Wyndham.
Boy, they're just going back and forth, and I think Wyndham now is, I think he's getting a little frustrated with all these guys coming up and passing him. He's wanting to hitch a ride with Mike Brown and go to the front.
Kevin Wyndham, I think, is very impressive maturity-wise in his very first Supercross race.
Oh, yeah. I remember my first Supercross race. I didn't want the whole shot, if you can believe that. Here's another look back at the pass, and boy, he just, you know, he times that finish line jump. He lands on the downside. He's able to get to the inside, but he did drift wide, and Dobb had that momentum coming off the berm. There he cuts back up the inside, and he's got the momentum to clear that double, and he's already put a little distance between he and Dobb.
Here's our leader, Tim Ferry. He made the podium 3 times last year, looking for his very first Supercross win. Jan Beekes.
Lee, Tim is really keeping his focus. Are you surprised that he's riding so smooth and error-free?
No, I'm not surprised. We've been working on it for a month and a half, and it's time to show what we got, you know. So I'm not surprised. I'm happy.
How much does that off-season testing help? Are you seeing a big difference here?
Yeah, big difference. Yeah, we've been working real hard, done our homework, and I hope it's going to pay off.
So what do you tell them now? Just stay cool?
Keep focused, and it's not over yet.
That's right. Thanks.
Tim Ferry here looking very strong in the later stage of this race. I think that month and a half of testing, I mean, that doesn't sound like very much. He's already been practicing, and he's up to speed. But that month and a half is just solid every day, testing new parts. And also, they've got Roger DeCoster on the team, and believe me, he knows what to do. He was majorly responsible for the dominance of Team Honda in the 80s, and I was fortunate enough to be part of it.
Let's take a look back now at the race. Long battle, 4th and 5th. It's Brown, number 26, in front of Kevin Wyndham. We're starting to pick up the pace a little bit more now.
Well, I think so. Brown was on the move, and he came up and passed both these guys, and I think it was the wake-up call that Wyndham needed. Now he's starting to ride a little bit more aggressive. He's staying on his heels, and he's within striking distance here.
I'd like to hear more about your first race. What's it like for Kevin Wyndham out there right now?
Well, I remember, you know, going back to the comment I made earlier, I didn't want the whole shot. Well, I got it, and that was the one time I didn't want it. Look at that move by Wyndham. He's starting to get his timing down, and he passes him on the outside. Now he's just kind of riding wherever he wants, and he's making up time. He's jumping that double there. You know, he squirts out of that corner, gets a little bit more time, and he actually looks like he's getting more and more relaxed and comfortable with this as he goes. Right there, you see he didn't even need to do the triple to maintain his lead over Brown.
Kevin Wyndham looking very impressive, moving into 4th place. Let's take another look at this fine setup jump.
Well, you can see here Brown doesn't jump it, and Wyndham in the air, he's got it laid over, he glances over. He doesn't drift all the way to the outside, which is tough to do when you jump that jump, but his timing allows him to get on that downside, get on the brakes, and make the pass.
Robbie Raynard in 3rd place now. He's trying to pick up time on Mikel Pichon, number 101.
And he is. You see how deep those ruts are getting now, and you know, he's doing certain things that actually is slowing down to go a little faster. He's making the inside everywhere, and his timing looks a little bit better. He looks like he's riding pretty relaxed, too, and he's definitely gaining ground on Pichon right now.
Raynard setting up for the triple. Can he pick up more time on Pichon? Oh, he's in trouble over the bars. Robbie Raynard now rolling in the dirt. Oh, bad break for this young man once again. And the way he's holding that shoulder, David, it looks like the same one that was operated on earlier.
Yeah, I don't like it. He's in pain. You can see it. I mean, he's just, the race is over for him, and it's hard to say if he's separated again or whatever, but you can see by his face there, he's obviously in major pain.
Let's take another look and see what went wrong for Robbie Raynard on this triple.
Well, he's cleared the triple, no problem at all. What happened was he drifted off to the right. I mentioned before those ruts and those jumps. He chose the wrong one and got off the track. He's obviously hurt. Let's go down and check in with Jan, who's with his dad trackside.
Robert, you ran over to see how Robbie was. What's Robbie's condition? I don't know. He said his shoulder's out. Is that the same shoulder he had operated on this winter? In September, yeah. Well, that's a real shame. Sorry about that.
Re-injuring a shoulder after a fairly recent operation, that's got to be very difficult.
Well, you can imagine how painful it must be, too. I was pretty lucky with shoulders and knees and things like that, but I had a lot of problem with my feet. Each time I re-injured it, this made it so much more difficult and tender to deal with.
Number 23, Tim Ferry, our leader. He's looking for his very first Supercross win. Pichon in 2nd. We'll be back with the finish of the 125s in a moment.
Hey, I'm not home. Just leave a message.
The girl who was too tall. The girl who could run faster than the boys. The pretty girl who never wanted to be a cheerleader. The girl who turned her back on the in crowd has risen above the rest.
Welcome back. It's the last lap of the 125 East Region. Tim Ferry has had an easy go of it, really. He dominated his heat race to qualify for the main, and here before his home state fans is racking up his very first Supercross victory.
You know, he looked awesome from the first lap of practice on, and in the main event here, he's just, look at him, he looks great. I mean, he doesn't have to be going fast right here, but he's still going hard. I don't think his lap times have changed much this whole race.
He's a different rider joining a factory team. He's been on 3 different bikes in 3 years. He was Rookie of the Year before that, but 2 down years, and he's back on top here today. Mikel Pichon, second place. Good steady race, David, for Mikel.
It sure was. He looked strong in the early laps, and he was within striking distance of Ferry. Then Ferry was just more consistent, and he didn't make any mistakes. He got a little distance, and it looked as though Pichon just settled for second. You know, he didn't win the battle here tonight, but he's still in the running for the war.
Well, Ferry has always been fast, but staying out of compromising situations with other riders and enduring has been his problem in the past, and finally finishing the race at the same pace he started. It's quite an accomplishment for this young man.
Well, you can see right here, he's got a lot of fan support. The big banner, the people are on their feet. That's got to be a great feeling to start off the season.
He really didn't even have any lappers to deal with in this race out in front so far, but he did prove he could bang bars with Mike Brown in the heat race. Here's the top 5 in our 125 main results. And rounding out the top 10, let's go to Jan Beekes, who's with our winner, Tim Ferry.
Tim Ferry, well, you certainly had it going all your way. How much did the hometown fans cheer you on and motivate you here?
A lot. I could do about 10th lap. My arms started pumping up, and all they could hear was the people yelling, so I had to do it for them and for myself.
Now tell us, this is your first Supercross victory. How is that going to help your confidence going into the rest of the season?
It's going to help it a lot. I mean, I don't know how I can get any more confident. You know, coming to this race, I rode past Mike Brown in the heat race, and with DeCoster on the team now, Suzuki's got a good team, and I feel so confident that I can't be beat.
Well, all your fans are right behind you. Turn around and give them a wave. There they are. They've all been rooting for you. You can see the signs up there. Nice job. Congratulations on your first Supercross win.
Mikel Pichon came here for a 3-race trial in the States 2 years ago and won at San Diego. He's on the podium today.
I know you don't speak very much English, but that was a good ride for you today?
Yeah, it was a very good ride because I'm not very strong at the beginning of the season, and I must ride more because I'm not booked a lot of training. I booked my race 3 months ago, and I'm very happy to be here in the US and very happy to finish second, and I hope to make better at the another race.
So round 1 of the 125 East is now in the record books. Tim Ferry on top of the world.
You know, I see this as a victory for all 3 of those guys. Kevin Windham in his first ever Supercross, and Mikel Pichon, who's come over here to ride in the U.S. full time.
Back with the 250s in a moment.
Out of style, and if you hurry, you just might get your hands on one. The Shadow, American Classic Edition.
Rule number 20, sticks. Rule number 79, spearing. Rule number 82, time of match. Rule number 25, to play the game, use a puck. The Senators and Bruins face off tonight, live at 7:30 Eastern. Time's up. The NHL rules on ESPN2.
A Honda flashback. The year 1983, Orlando, Florida, in a field that included O'Mara, Ward, Barnett, Glover, Bailey. A young rookie, 16 years old, with the plate 224, not only took the lead, but won the race.
There you can see he's followed by Warren Reed, Johnny O'Mara, Alan King. I was somewhere in that mix, but this kid came out of nowhere. He was jumping a double that no one else on the track could do. That's how he took the lead, in fact. As he took off in fourth, took the checkered flag, and he was pretty ecstatic with this.
Ron Lachine, 16 years old. His first Supercross victory. From 1983, we moved to 1995. The present Suzuki's Ezra Lusk waiting for his 250 heat. Suzuki is banking on new team manager Roger DeCoster to elevate their 250 performance. He was 5 times a world motocross champion as a rider, first on CZ and later on Suzuki during the 70s. A consultant and test rider for Honda's winning CR program during the 80s, and past captain of the victorious U.S. team in the Motocross to Nations. Belgian-born Roger DeCoster brings unmatched credentials to Team Suzuki for the 1995 season.
Well, it's kind of like coming back home. I spent a lot of time with Suzuki in the 70s, won all my world championships and the Trans USA and Trans AMA championships on Suzuki's. And I was in Japan last week and met a lot of the people I used to work with, and it was kind of a home feeling.
DeCoster heads up a young and talented group of riders, including newcomers Craig Decker and our 125 East winner here tonight, Tim Ferry. 125 Western Supercross champion Damon Huffman. 125 Eastern Supercross champ Ezra Lusk. And 3-time World Motocross champion Greg Albertine.
I'm happy to work with the race team directly again. I never really got out of it because after I stopped working with Honda, I was working for High Torque with the dirt bike and motocross action magazines, and I also worked this year with a team sponsored by Pepsi that was based in Italy, and but to be into it again 100%, I think it's for me it's good. I'm happy about it.
With the knowledge and experience of a Roger DeCoster and talented riders, Team Suzuki has apparently made a commitment to go all the way to the top. Highlights of the 250 heat races brought to you by Suzuki. 250 riders have 3 chances to make the field for the main event. The top 4 riders in 2 qualifying heats go immediately to the main. Those who finish outside the top 4 move on to the semifinals, which the top 5 get the transfer to the main. The rest 5 for only 2 spots in the last chance qualifier. Here in heat number 1, an 8-lap affair. Ezra Lusk, number 24, got the whole shot, but Honda's number 4, Doug Henry, took the lead when Ezra met the hay bales. Ezra would get right back onto the track, not only to challenge his 250 teammate from Suzuki, Albertine, but would eventually move back into the lead. Greg Albertine, with number 111, representing his 3 world championships, trying to make the field for his first U.S. Supercross, battling with teammate Ezra Lusk. The 2 Suzukis in the lead on lap 2 had to put a smile in the new team manager Roger DeCoster's heart at this time. Number 2, Mike LaRocco, was in 6th after the first lap, 5th after lap 3, and 2nd by lap 7. But even after casing that jump, he still catches up with DeHoop on his climb up the ladder. Right behind him is number 7, Mike Kudrowski, his teammate, and he'll take advantage of DeHoop next. LaRocco, who was hoping, of course, to be the big challenger to Jeremy McGrath this year, takes on McGrath's teammate for 3rd place, Doug Henry, number 4. And just in front of LaRocco and Henry, Albertine, who had improved 70% from the day's single practice session, but when he goes down on the finish line jump, it was the first of 2 crashes for number 111. MK, Mike Kudrowski, was banging on Henry then for 3rd. He finally leaps by the Connecticut native into 3rd place, while Henry would hold on to the final transfer spot the rest of the way. His 2nd crash, and Albertine would leave the track in frustration and pain, the shoulder injury sidelining him for at least 2 weeks. It was Ezra Lusk, though, his teammate, winning the year's opening heat. LaRocco, Mike Kudrowski, and Henry headed toward the main event along with Ezra. In Suzuki Heat Race number 2, we feature more big names. The biggest, two-time defending champion Jeremy McGrath. The charge for the whole shot, it was Jeff Emig, Steve Lamson, and McGrath, the top 3. Lamson number 5 with McGrath number 1 right behind him. On lap 2, Emig continued to lead while McGrath got by his teammate Lamson. Lamson later went down on lap 3 but got up without losing 3rd place. On lap 5, McGrath made his move on Emig, diving underneath just after the finish line jump. Emig kept pressure on the big guy. And fighting for the final transfer spot, Larry Ward, Damon Huffman, and Frenchman Frédéric Boulay. Boulay giving the Americans too much room underneath, and both slipping by. Damon Huffman, number 12, will make the big move of the heat, getting by Ward for 4th place. And McGrath, with a sufficient lead at the end of the heat, lived up to his nickname, Showtime. He charmed the 30,000-plus fans at the Citrus Bowl, winning with knack-knacks thrown in. Jeremy McGrath winning the 2nd Suzuki Heat. Jeff Emig, Steve Lamson, and an impressive ride by the youngster, the 125 rider Damon Huffman, to get to the main. Highlights of the 250 semis brought to you by Honda. Still in the hunt for the main event, the semifinals, headlining the first semi, Craig, Dowd, Lewis, DeHoop, and privateers Antonez and Lawrence. It was Lawrence going down after the first turn. And then KTM rider Kevin Krein got tangled up in midair with Todd DeHoop. Watch this. He avoids further injury by crawling quickly off the track. Meanwhile, Honda of Troy's Michael Craig put his CR250 out in front for the start, showing the form that he displayed in his lone Supercross win last year. Craig, in the process of winning, won the mythical jump-off, making Showtime take a back seat. After putting his Honda through a can-can, that was a beautiful layout. Let's get horizontal. Craig, the winner of the first semifinal heat, brought to you by Honda. Dowd won his duel with Kyle Lewis for 2nd place. Kyle holding on to 3rd. Buddy Antonez, an old 125 teammate of McGrath's, in 4th, and Todd DeHoop in 5th. Semifinal number 2 brought to you by Honda. Another Honda of Troy victory, incidentally. After Larry Brooks got the whole shot, number 10, Brian Swink, took the lead on the first set of triples. In order, it was Swink, Brooks, number 21, Ward. Hughes would have a real battle with Boulay, number 103. The field got strung out with the transfer positions pretty well defined before the end of the race. The focus would sharpen on Sizzler no-lean teammates, Larry Ward and Larry Brooks. Here's the battle, number 11 Ward and number 21 Brooks, the battle for 2nd place. Ward, who just missing the main out of the qualifying heat, takes over 2nd place. And then Hughes took over 3rd on the 4th lap, number 9 getting by Brooks. Swink on the Honda takes the checkers, doing a little styling. He wins the semifinal. The final battle left, Brooks versus Boulay before the checkers, and it is Brooks advancing to the main event. On the official Honda semifinal scoreboard, there you see it's Swink, Ward, Hughes, Brooks, and Boulay making it to the main, along with last chance qualifiers, Lawrence and DeMent. With qualifying complete, the riders are ready for the first Supercross of the season. David Bailey and Jan Vikas will join me then.
If you like motorcycle racing, you'll want to get the full story every week in Cycle News, America's weekly motorcycle newspaper. Call now and have Cycle News mailed to your home every week with this special television offer. Subscribe for 1 year and get 50 weekly issues for only $33. Use your credit card or just say, "Bill me," and make 3 easy payments of $11. Call toll-free 1-800-325-2925. Subscribe to Cycle News and just say, "Bill me."
Just 15 minutes a day, my jeans fit nicer. Pantyhose fit me better. Everything is harder and firmer.
Quick, get a tight, firm body in just 15-minute workouts with the new Quick Tony Buns of Steel. Abs of steel and thighs of steel. And each video has 3 different workouts. You have 15 minutes, you can be firmer, slimmer, shapelier.
Get quick toning buns of steel and abs of steel for only $29.95. If you order now, you'll get quick toning thighs of steel free. This offer is not available in stores, so call now.
If you can find half an hour to watch a sitcom, you can easily find 15 minutes to do a video. It feels great to fit into the clothes that I haven't fit into in a real long time.
The quick toning series, I think, is really great. Quick, the body you want is waiting.
To order quick toning buns of steel and abs of steel, plus the free quick toning thighs of steel video, have your credit card ready and call 1-800-305-4499 or send $29.95 plus $4.95 to Quick Toning Buns of Steel, P.O. Box 70, Department BD, Clinton, Tennessee.
I don't want a roof. I don't want a windshield. I don't want a vanity mirror. I don't want a cup holder. I don't want a shortcut. The Suzuki Intruder.
Welcome back to the Florida Citrus Bowl in Orlando, Florida for the 250 main. Art Ekman, David Bailey, and Jan Beekes to bring you the action. A tense moment right now for many of these riders and their crews. A chance to confirm their theories of the off-season and the training and the testing they've been through.
Well, they've all been through quite a bit of it, and to start the season off, it's no fun to spend it in the rain. And right now they've got threatening skies. They've had them all day. Fortunately, they took good care of the track. They covered it with plastic while it did rain. They took it off, and we've got pretty good conditions here as we're set to go.
All kinds of decisions, though. How many tear-offs do you put on? And,
Sure, yeah, what kind of goggles to run. You know, as you put more tear-offs on there, it gives you that milky vision. It's hard to see, so it's hard to decide what to do.
Number 1, Jeremy McGrath on the right. Getting set. He's used to getting whole shots here. Wants to see if he can win his 3rd in a row in Orlando, but it's Emig out in front. Emig takes the turn. He goes down. Look out. Henry, Lamson, Craig, they're held up in the roadblock now. Emig will end up last in the pack. Jeremy McGrath made it through. So did Lusk. It's Ezra Lusk in the lead.
Well, that's a shame for Emig. You know, he rode really strong in his heat race. Now DeHoop's down. Boy, it's just mayhem out there in this first lap.
Kyle Lewis has moved into the lead as DeHoop tries to get back on his bike. Lewis, number 15, followed by McGrath. McGrath getting through that jam at the beginning was a marvelous move.
Well, that was slick. Boy, he could have gone down easily, and you can see he's already picking different lines.
McGrath, right on the heels of Kyle Lewis, leaps over Kyle Lewis into first place. You talk about wasting little time getting out in front now, and he's going to pour it on.
Well, he goes right for the jugular. You know, this is what McGrath is so good at. He doesn't waste any time. He goes right to the front where he can run his pace, which is blistering in those opening laps.
And that early roadblock separating McGrath from several of the contending riders. Lusk in 3rd place on the Suzuki. Here's LaRocco making the inside move on Henry.
Well, you can see he's got a glimpse there of number 7, Kudrowski. Look how muddy he is. I mean, vision is going to be a critical issue here tonight, and he's already got problems.
Let's take another look at the run for the hole shot.
Well, McGrath here right in the middle. You can see Lamson skids out into him, gives him, boom, right there, bumps him. Now he's got to stay off of Lusk. Right there, he runs right up on Lusk. That could be a high side for anyone else, man. McGrath is so slick to hang on to that thing.
And then he had the patience to get around to the right side of Emig as we see Emig down.
That's just dominoes right there. And McGrath, he is just so smart. You know, he's like in a school of fitness.
Oh, Ezra Lusk comes up short off the finish line jump. Bad break for Ezra, who had a good start.
Well, he won his heat race, and he looked fantastic. He was right there challenging for the lead, and now he can't get his bike started. You can see the disgust of his mechanic.
Lusk getting back into the fray now. That's 25. He's racing with the 10-year veteran Todd DeHoop, and Boulay hits the deck. That's a difficult area, evidently.
Well, they're coming down that first turn. You can see, actually, when Lusk came into the corner there, he's getting passed by one of the Honda of Troy riders. He almost crashed again in that mud. It's just difficult because if you don't stay right in the groove, boy, it's really slick.
LaRocco has Lewis in his sights.
And he's got to get him quick, too. McGrath's already starting to pull away. If he can pass him, that's the battle we've all been waiting to see. LaRocco up front in the early stages of the race and do battle. If McGrath put pressure on him, no one has.
That's right, David. Last year, he had the fastest bike on the track, but he was always coming from behind. Right now, he's trying to catch up to Kyle Lewis on one of his favorite tracks. 2 of his 6 wins right here in Orlando, even though he didn't win here last year.
Well, he's taking different lines everywhere. He's trying to stay out of that roof so he can keep good vision. He's going to need it when he gets up to McGrath.
LaRocco makes his move on Kyle Lewis. Rips a tear off in preparation for taking on Jeremy McGrath. Oh, this is the battle we wanted. And there's Mike LaRocco Sr. encouraging his rider on.
Well, you can see the intensity on the faces of all those mechanics. And right now, LaRocco's got clear sailing, but already, you don't even see Jeremy McGrath. He's completely out of the camera. LaRocco's got his work cut out.
Oh, this will be the battle coming up. We'll be back in a moment.
Can you figure out the cost of a long-distance call?
We haven't studied that yet.
What do I look like, a mathematician? You don't need to be a math whiz to save with Sprint Sense. It's the simplest long-distance calling plan yet. Just 10 cents a minute, every evening, every night, and all weekend long. Call now for Sprint Sense and you'll get an extra bonus, up to 100 minutes free.
Okay, but what are you going to pay for a minute of long distance to someone, oh, say, 3,000 miles away?
50 to 60 cents a minute.
80 cents? No, not with Sprint Sense. All your state-to-state calls are just 10 cents a minute for a full 12 hours every weeknight and all weekend long. And Sprint Sense couldn't be simpler. There are no calling circles, no confusing percentages. And remember, if you call now, you'll get up to 100 minutes free. Sprint will even switch you for free.
So let's review. What are you going to pay for long distance?
10 little pennies.
A dime a minute.
I'm talking 1 thin dime.
Very good.
Call 1-800-913-9728.
Society says beating on things is unacceptable behavior, except in the ring. Everyone wants to know what it's like, how it feels, where it comes from. A blow to the head, white flash, and a ringing sound in your ears. Welcome to the dark side. It's an interesting place to visit, but you wouldn't want to live there. That's why I box.
Welcome back to Orlando, Florida. The first Supercross of the year. Kyle Lewis and Mike Kudrowski battling it out. Lewis back in third place. Kudrowski wanting to move up after a fairly slow start.
Well, Lewis goes for the whole plateau on the finish line jump, drifts a little wide. He leaves the door wide open for Mike Kudrowski. He's back under the inside, but Kudrowski shuts the door.
That puts him back into third. He ended up third place in the points last year.
Well, let's see. Here's another look. It looks like, you know, it's just like what I had mentioned earlier. Lewis just goes too wide, leaves the door wide open, and Kudrowski takes advantage. You know, he saw that coming. He saw Lewis jump that plateau. He knows how hard it is to make that inside, so he gambled, and it paid off.
And he had the straightaway speed to keep the edge into that corner. Kudrowski, Lewis, and Doug Henry, number 4. Henry starting to make a move, cuts to the inside. Tried the block pass and comes out of it with power.
Henry, pretty aggressive move right there, you know, but again, Lewis leaves the door wide open, so, you know, what's he expect? Henry, it wasn't dirty at all. He just had to get in there and make the pass. He looks pretty aggressive right now, and I think he wants to stay with Kudrowski and hopefully catch this guy, Jeremy McGrath.
McGrath with 10 victories his rookie year, a record 9 victories last year, and the title once again. Let's go down to Jan Beekes.
Skip Norfolk, you are looking after Jeremy McGrath, and he is right where you want him right now. Are you worried about LaRocco?
Well, he's got enough jab now he can watch him. Hopefully, if he can see himself pull away, he's pulling away just a little bit right now. That's the best thing for the confidence. When he starts wheeling him in, if he starts reeling him in, that's when you start worrying about him catching you. But right now, he seems to be pulling away just a little bit, and we got a lot of racing left.
How much of a gap does he have right now?
About 5.5 seconds.
Okay, we'll keep an eye on that gap. Thank you.
All right.
Well, I can tell you, Art, 5 seconds out there is like a week. I mean, every time you look back, you don't see LaRocco in the picture, and that's a huge gap.
Especially with Jeremy McGrath. Came out in the first lap in 12th place, and now is gunning for 6th.
He's a man on the move. Looks like Lewis gets pretty quick. He's already got to put some distance on this rider. There's a look at Ryan Hughes, number 9. He normally rides the 125. He's on the 250 this week.
Number 9. The equipment these riders are wearing makes them look like gladiators, but every piece of gear has a purpose. Jan Beekes took a look earlier.
Safety equipment is very important for Supercrosser Mike Craig and also for recreational riders or motocrossers. Mike is showing us all of his gear. This arsenal all comes from AXO. Starting at the helmet, this is new for 95, made out of carbon fiber. Very light. It also has some new vents here above the visor so that if a rider's helmet goes down, the wind doesn't push it back. It actually lets it through this visor area. Another important area, of course, is the chest protector. This is for roost. If a guy in front of you, Mike, gasses it, throws rocks at you, that's going to give you that protection. Now, it fits lower than it has in the past here in the shoulders. That way, it gives you more protection in the neck, more mobility for the helmet. As we come down through here, we have some new dyes and new fabrics that keep it from fading. There's a kidney belt under here, and then we come to some high-tech nylon that comes down through these pants to a very special area here. This actually has 12 different panels that are made out of stretch Kevlar. The reason for that, it has to fit over this brace. Most of the riders do use this brace. It looks big and bulky, but does offer a lot of protection. Made out of Kevlar, carbon fiber, very light. A lot of high-tech work goes into the boots. Down in through here, you can see on the inside, this is some high-tech plastic, but it's not slick. It offers some grip for a rider to grab onto the bike in midair if he has to. And then it has a special locking system here, almost like a ski boot. You can lock that down, and then it has here a deflector to keep from knocking that open during a Supercross. There's also some new high-tech work done in here. This used to be a steel plate. Now it is carbon fiber because the riders would land so hard they were bending the steel.
I don't think these guys realize how good they have it. You know, I had jeans with padding sewed in it. I had like a mailbox number on the side of my helmet, duct tape on my body. You know, I mean, now these helmet paint jobs and the carbon fiber and all the stuff that goes into this. I mean, they got trick riding here out there, and they look good.
And Larry Ward makes the inside move on Kyle Lewis, and he's free to look at fourth place.
Last year, he hole shotted this race, and he looked really strong for a while, only to throw it away and end up, I think, 12th or 15th or something. This year, he looks really strong. He's just got to be careful and keep it on two wheels.
That's right. He led the first 7 laps before the crash. Ended up 17th in the race. He's trying to reverse that process here today. Doug Henry, number 4, just passed Damon Huffman, who went down at the same place that Greg Albertine went down in the heat race and separated his shoulder. A tough break for the young man, Damon Huffman.
Well, it's particularly scary, too. There you see his mechanic finding out if he's okay, because what happens, he's got to go and ride the 125, and he's got to be healthy for that series.
Yeah, let's hope he's ready for Minneapolis in the 125 championship run. Doug Henry now has Larry Ward on his tail. Ward has a fast bike. He's been able to pick through the crowd pretty well.
Well, it's not only a fast bike, but he's riding good. There you see, out jumps Doug Henry off that tricky little section. Doug Henry dabs his foot down and gives Larry Ward the advantage. Look at that. They look at each other in the end.
Hello, my non-factory Yamaha is going to take over right here. Larry Ward's in great shape coming into this year.
Well, it sure looks like it. Everyone's starting to fade a little bit, and he's making up time. Now, here's another look. It looks like Henry makes a little mistake right there, and he can't get the drive to these whoops up to the triple, and Larry Ward just has more momentum.
And while this action was going on, Larocco bobbles went down. Kudrowski was able to get by his teammate, move into second place. Larocco is back up and running now. He is currently in third. We'll be back with more 250 action in a moment.
Start Suzuki Dual Sport 650, 350, 250, and 125. No other line has a wider range.
Jumpin', jammin', smashin', crashin', floorin', soarin'. Experience the high-flying world of Supercross like never before. Call now to order Supercross Thrills and Spills, the video that captures the highs and the lows of the world's top riders. Endless Endo's roughest rivalries, biggest bloopers, and fantastic finishes. Can't miss action for the can't miss price of $19.95 plus shipping and handling. Call 1-800-225-5222 and order Supercross Thrills and Spills. All major credit cards accepted. Call now.
Talking some football tonight. The number for you to get involved on the program is 1-800-98-TALK-2. Yeah! Johnny, you're on Talk 2.
Romy, you're a wanted man here in Nebraska.
Johnny, let me tell you something. It's good to have your smack right here on Talk 2.
Enough is enough.
Even that can't help you this time, Scrubby. Tahara. My God. What a tank. Talk 2. If you're a scrub, don't bother.
Jim Rome on Talk 2. Live weeknights on ESPN2.
We're back in Orlando, Florida for the first Supercross of the year. Jeremy McGrath is out in front, but here is Mike LaRocco and Larry Ward. Ward is picking up on LaRocco, who has slowed down since the incident.
Right, ever since the crash, you know, he's been out of sync and seemed to rise a little slower now here and there, and I can't figure out if he's got a problem or not, but Larry Ward's all over him.
Takes the berm and uses the berm. Ward now, he gets by Mike LaRocco. I think there's something wrong with LaRocco's bike.
Yeah, LaRocco's timing, he can't jump certain things, and I don't know, it's hard to say if he bent a lever or what he's got going on there, but obviously it's something. LaRocco's capable of a lot more than this.
So we've got McGrath, Kudrowski, and Ward in that order with LaRocco and Henry.
Well, as LaRocco watches Ward pull away, he's got more problems with Henry coming up from behind.
Jan Beekes is with Brian Lennis.
Brian Lennis turns the wrenches for our second place runner. What are you instructing him to do right now, Brian?
Well, like right now on the racetrack, he got hung up in a bunch of lappers. So it's late in the race, and there's a lot of guys going pretty slow right now. So we got to get around that traffic and put it between who's ever in third right now, which is Larry Ward, and he's starting to close up. So,
but you're a long way off the lead, but yet you are really spurring him on there. It's that important to get out of the lappers?
It's early in the season. We want that speed up for the next races.
Thanks.
Ezra Lusk, a lapper, and Kudrowski getting by him easily is on the move. And as you see, there's a lot of roost out there.
Well, he's reaching up to clear his vision, and here's Ryan Hughes making up time. You know, he was caught in that whole first turn fiasco, and you can see he's making another pass there on Kyle Lewis. Lewis, unfortunately, had a great start, but he's going backwards here.
An impressive run for Ryan Hughes, who's going to concentrate, of course, on the 125 Western Championship run.
Well, this is going to give him a boost of confidence, and he's having a pretty good run here. He's moving to the front. You know, he's looking good. He doesn't ride 250s all the time, but his main competitor, Damon Huffman, is on the ground and out of the race.
15, Kyle Lewis, and the next pursuer coming up on Kyle is Michael Craig. I haven't mentioned his name much since he got hung up with the Emming accident in the first turn.
Well, he looked pretty good in the semi. He put on a pretty good show for the fans, and you know, he's moving up, but I'm sure he'd like to be a little farther up. You know, he won a race last year, and he's the only guy that could really create problems for McGrath. And he's shown a lot of speed, but not a lot of consistency. And here he's doing a pretty good job of working his way to the front.
Michael Craig last year, the winner in Tampa for his lone Supercross victory. Finished out the year with Yamaha in the outdoor season, and now is with Honda of Troy.
He seems to be getting things sorted out with the bike. He looks pretty comfortable, and he's just chasing Ryan Hughes through the pack. Both these guys are moving up strong.
Ryan in 6th position and Craig in 7th with Lewis in 8th. And back out front, here's our leader, Jeremy McGrath. Flawless run. No reason to even look back. Let's check the interval between 1st and 2nd place now.
If there is a 2nd place somewhere in our future here. Geez, there's Lapper.
There's a Lapper.
Lamson's a lapper. Boy, that's got to be pretty demoralizing. He's his teammate. And there you get a look at Kudrowski. Boy, it looks like 15 seconds. I mean, that's, we talked about a week before. That's got to be a month.
A couple of years. A couple of years anyway. Here's Larry Ward in 3rd place.
And you got LaRocco coming through. And you got Lusk there, who ran up front and crashed. He's being lapped.
DeHoop a lapper, and here is the 5th place rider, Henry, to be followed by Hughes, Craig, and Lewis in that order. And Emmig, look at Emmig in 9th place now after coming out of the first lap in last.
Boy, he went down in the first corner, and he's made up some serious time. It'd be interesting to see how things would have gone had he been able to stay out.
Number 14, a disappointing first Supercross for John Dowd on his new factory ride.
You know, no one expected Dowd to do that well, so I'm sure he'll get better as the season wears on.
You see the lap time for Jeremy, and we'll be back.
When you're done exploring the high points of these 95 Suzukis, make sure you check out the low points. 9.9% financing, 0 down on some of our best bikes. And another high point, you could win a Suzuki 4-door Sidekick or other prizes during our Customer Appreciation Day sweepstakes for a limited time. See your Suzuki motorcycle dealer now.
I want to know about meeting that special someone.
Sorry, can't help you there.
I want to know more about a diet I can live with.
No way, not in this commercial.
I want to know more about Rogaine.
Rogaine with minoxidil?
Yeah.
Anybody else?
Yeah.
Okay. Just call this number now for a free information kit on Rogaine topical solution. It could help answer your questions because it's filled with all kinds of facts about Rogaine. And because you need a prescription to get Rogaine, we'll send you a list of local doctors and special money-saving offers to help you decide if Rogaine is right for you.
But I want to know right now.
We'll mail it to you today. So what are you waiting for? Call now for your free information kit. Call 1-800-336-9992.
This edition of Power Wheels on ESPN2 is brought to you by Honda, defending champions and holders of the past 7 consecutive Supercross titles. Honda, come ride with us. And by Suzuki. Right now, your Suzuki dealer has the ride you've been waiting for and the financing to get it.
And the cheers in Orlando are for number 1. The Knack-Knack Kid, Showtime, whatever you want to call him, Jeremy McGrath on his way to winning the opener to the 1995 season. His 20th Supercross win in only 32 races, David.
That's pretty impressive. This guy's definitely, I don't know if he's batting 1,000, but it's pretty darn close.
He had 4 straight wins to start the season last year, trying to approach the record by Rick Johnson of 5 to begin a season. Can he do it this year?
Well, there's a lot of skeptics, you know, saying that it's too hard to do it 3 years in a row. There's too many things against it, but there you see him taking the win again. He's got to demoralize everyone.
Jeremy McGrath in first place. Kedrowski holding on to second. Valuable points for the Kawasaki team.
Well, he's got a new mechanic and supposedly a fresh new attitude, and second place isn't bad for the season opener.
McGrath, extremely popular in Orlando, takes his 2nd straight victory there. Larry Ward, non-factory rider, taking 3rd.
You see Larry pop a little wheelie out of the corner. That's like a victory for him, you know. Last year, like you said, he ended up, what, 17th or something, and pretty inconsistent through the series, and he's definitely shown his speed, and here he's got a good start for this 95 season.
He was the so-called top privateer of last year in the point standings and is off to a great start. But all the laurels belong to this man right now, Jeremy McGrath, followed by Kedrowski, Ward, LaRocco, and Henry, the top 5. And a very accomplished ride by Ryan Hughes, a 125 rider, placing 6th. Let's go to Jan Beekes with our 3rd place finisher.
Larry Ward, that was a great, inspired ride. Now, you've got to be obviously very excited about starting the season this way.
Oh, I definitely am. We've been having a little bit of problems. Last year, I got the whole shot every time. This year, I'm having some problems with my starts. I think I started about 18th, and to come back to 3rd, well, that's probably one of the better races I've ever had. And, you know, I owe most of it to Clark Jones. He pushes me every day, and the Snowline team's going to come around, and we're going to be up there for this championship.
You're definitely making a mark for Nolene. I mean, people are really taking notice of the privateer teams. They're pushing hard.
Well, good. Maybe I'll become an investor, and we'll make a motorcycle, and I can make some money off this deal. But, no, like I said, I'm very happy with Nolene, and any business or any advertisement I can give to them, they deserve it all.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Quite an evening for number 1, Jeremy McGrath, getting by a roadblock in the first lap to take the first victory of the year. Jan Beekes is with him now.
Jeremy, you're just asking who came in 2nd and 3rd. The reason you're asking that is you had a 20-second gap. I mean, that is a huge margin of victory. Well, how'd you do that?
Well, my start was average. I started bumping some guys on the first lap. I just tried to ride as smooth as I could. And, you know, I got to say thanks to my trainer, Gary Simics. We've been working really hard for the last month here, trying to get in shape. And as a team, we're working great together, and we're just getting stronger.
You just got off the cellular phone. Who was the first person you called?
That was my mom. Tell her I love her and tell her I won.
What'd she say?
She said, hold on, your sister wants to talk to you.
I'm sure your mom wasn't surprised. Obviously, victory is no stranger to your family, and we certainly congratulate you.
Well, thanks a lot. She sits on the edge of the couch every Saturday night and waiting for the phone call if she's not at the race. So, you know, it's great to have parents like I do. I'm very appreciative.
Thanks, Jeremy.
Thanks.
Stronger than ever, David.
Oh, he's got all the support in the world. Things are going his way. It looks like here we go again.
Art Ekman for David Bailey and Jan Beekes. We'll see you next week from the Metrodome in Minneapolis, Minnesota.